So you're new to woodworking and you've gotten this. Look at that. See that? See? Yeah, it's an earthquake, right? No. I am I'm everything here. I'm the camera guy. I'm the star I'm the producer. I'm the director. Well, we don't write much, but I'm everything. So if you see the camera moving around, this is not Hollywood, people. This is real. This is real, okay? It might not be live when you get it. It's live when I'm doing it. And so it's real. So we talked about cutting straight lines in the last segment. And we talked about, using that hand saw. We talked about using a circular saw that a lot of times people want to call a skill saw. The Skill is a brand. And we talked about table saws. They were going to talk about cutting circles, curves and things like that. We all like curves, okay? We don't always want to be in a box, okay? Now, how do we get started on that? Again, we don't have to spend a lot of money, but I'm going to give you my safety advice, and y'all know that I can get a little bit morbid on that. But these power tools, if you're not used to them, if you never used them, find somebody other than Uncle Billy, okay, that's, that says he knows something to do, but you don't trust him. Find somebody you can trust that knows how to use them, they respect them, and they're going to operate them safely. And they're going to teach you how to operate them safely to teach you. If you don't have a good Uncle Billy out there or a good neighbor, the neighbor doesn't like you because, whatever reason, then there's some places that you can go and get trained up on this. Again, I'm not sponsored by anyone, but I do know Woodcrafts, and they have them around. I know each one of them are at least an hour from my house, and they do teach. You might find something going on in a local college. The big box stores, sometimes they have lessons going on depending on who they have on staff. They do a lot of things for kids in there, but hey, you're a big kid, right? I'm a big kid. And these are toys. These are toys that you got to respect. If you respect them, they're going to respect you back. But if you don't, they're going to hurt you, and you're not going to like woodworking, okay? And so that's my safety tip for you on that right there. But if we're going to start cutting curves, now kind of at the top of the cutting the curve list, and I'm going to see if I can get this in my shop here. I'm still transforming a lot around here, and let me change this. And that there is called a bandsaw right over there, okay? It is a very nice saw to have. It's a stationary equipment. In other words, it's not something moving around very much. And stationary equipment, you can put them on rollers. You can tuck them away if you don't have a lot of space. And that one there will cut curves. You can put different types of size blades on them. I use that one mainly to do what's called resawing, and we'll talk a lot more about how you make cuts later on in different videos. But resawing is pretty much when you have the wood on edge and you're slicing it thin, to be able to make more than one piece out of it. And so I do use it for other things over there, but that's mainly it for it. Now you say, hey, I don't want to spend a lot of money. I don't have a lot of space. Is there something else, that I can use? And, I'm going to say yes, and we're going to talk about those. But, again, talking about the bandsaw, you don't have to spend a lot of money. I think I paid about $200 or $250 off of one of those social media sites. Went down, drove about an hour from the house, picked it up, brought it back. And that's actually, for the money, that is a really good bandsaw that I have right there. And, it cuts real well. In my school shop, I've got the really nice big Powermatics there. And, again, I don't have a sponsor. And, we got some really nice toys in the shop there that we get to use, and I do like using that one. But for my home shop, that one works real well. And I'm kind of working back down to the basics on this one right here. And I'm going to show you what's called a scroll saw. I made a lot of money with this scroll saw right here. That thing is close to 30 years old. I bought it when I was stationed in Fort Hood, Texas. And I used to make a lot of nameplates that went on desk. And that paid for itself right there many times over. I think I had that going 6 or 7 days a week. That it still works. I don't use it as much as I used to. CNC machines and stuff like that have kind of put me out of business when it comes to making those things. And here I go again. I went to another table. Let me adjust here. Cameraman. Hey. There we go. Might have to fire that cameraman. He's not doing a very good job. So that scroll saw you can cut on a dime. I mean, just the curves and things like that. And I've cut some things fairly thick on that, but you can start getting more of an inch thick. You have blade drift and stuff like that, and you got to be careful. You got to take your time with that. And that's, again, kind of a stationary tool. You can put it on the bench top, clamp it down. I had a stand that I made for it, and I put it on, and I had it kind of tucked away in a spot, and I spent a lot of time with that. And when I started woodworking back years ago and had my shop, the 3 power tools that I had I had a Craftsman contractor type table saw with the cast iron type top. I'm really big in these cast iron tops because of vibration. And we can get more in that later on if you want to about different types of saws. And I had the scroll saw and a router. I had a power drill and my circular saw. And this next tool, I guess I had more power tools. But I didn't have the big, expensive tools. And I did a lot with those things. And I found different ways to get around not having other tools we'll talk about in other segments. Now, the next tool, and you're probably going to want to get this for your shop when you're starting out. And as far as power tools are concerned, they're fairly safe. Again, you got to respect them because a power tool that cuts, it doesn't matter. It doesn't care. It can be wood, it can be metal, it can be your finger cut. But it's right here, it's called a jigsaw. This jigsaw right here, I've had for quite a few years. I think this one here, I've probably about, 15, 16 years. And I got another one sitting over there. This is kind of maybe a skill brand that's not as good as this one right here. But you don't have to spend a lot of money on these. And you can get different types of blades that cut metal, different thicknesses, all kinds of blades for these. And you can even get a straight line out of it, especially if you use a straight edge that you run right along here and you take your time, you can get some straight cuts. Let's say you don't have a table saw or a skill saw to start and you're going to do some small projects like some napkin holders or bird houses, something like that. You can get away with just having this one right here, as long as you're not buying rough lumber to start with. And there's my cabinet, and that cameraman's not doing a very good job. But I would suggest if you're going to buy a power tool that's cutting, that's a good one to start with right there. And generally it really doesn't always, sometimes a lot of people make a big deal about different brands. I got caught up on DeWalt a lot of years ago. I kind of stayed that way. But, there's other brands that probably, in a lot of ways, just as good. Until you get into, you get some people that get really into it, then if you got to be precise and this, that. But it really comes down to your skill and you knowing that tool. If you know that tool and you're good with that tool, and it probably doesn't matter the brand. And after all, Noah, he built that boat with, a couple rocks and some sticks years ago, right? So he was probably pretty good with that. I don't think we've had power tools for a long time. And so there's a lot of things built around here that was built by manual tools. And we're going to talk about that right here. This one here you need to have, okay? The coping saw. This coping saw does what those other tools, especially that scroll saw. That scroll saw is basically a power coping saw. Now, that scroll saw I can't take everywhere. This one here I can take anywhere I want, and I always keep one in my trim toolbox. I used to do a lot of trim work and a lot of coping in corners. I coped in my crown inside quarters, my base molding, all kinds of stuff like that. Learn how to use one of these. Matter of fact, start off one of these. If you're starting woodworking, I would encourage you to start off using some hand tools first. Go ahead and buy some wood that's maybe milled. You buy some 2x4s that you don't care. Well, they're expensive now. Okay, maybe find a place that lets you scrummage through their trash and get some out of it. But I don't throw away very much anymore. It's kind of getting like gold right there. Next thing you know, wood's going to be up there like oil. It's going to be one of those worldwide type pricing things, and the dollar kind of tied to it or whatever. But get to use one of these. Get an appreciation for hand tools. Get an appreciation for kind of feeling how that wood, works. And different woods are different. I wouldn't start off with some real hard wood. Start off with some pine and some softer types of wood. Because if you start off with some, mahogany, you're going to spend a lot of money that you're going to waste. You start off with some oak, again, you're going to spend a lot of money to waste. They're a lot harder wood, and one, you don't want to waste it. You're not going to enjoy it as much. But they're the 4 basic tools for when you need to cut something other than a straight line. Again, you don't have to break the piggy bank. One of these here, you can pick up less than $20. You can pick it up used somewhere probably for $1 or $2. The blades are fairly inexpensive. You can find somebody on YouTube that'll basically show you how to use these. They cut on the backstroke, not forward. So when you put the blade in, make sure you're pulling, not pushing on it. That's because these blades are thin. Okay, and if you understand anything, about pushing and pulling on something, then you'll understand that. Now, the scroll saws, you can probably pick up a used one right there, inexpensive. And then, of course, the jigsaws, I'm not even sure what they cost anymore. You can probably pick up a halfway decent one for less than $50 used. Again, you don't have to spend a lot of money to be able to have fun. I hope this helped you a little bit, give you some ideas on how to get started. Again, please be safe when you're doing this. You're getting out there. If you're not safe, if you have too high expectation of what you might be able to accomplish initially, you might not have as much fun. It's a journey. Enjoy the process. You're going to make mistakes. And just don't make the safety mistakes where you come up like this, okay? Versus we want to have all these at the end of the day, right? Don't want to be this. So don't make those type of mistakes. But you're going to make mistakes with the wood. You're going to have a first project, and you're going to be proud of it. You got through it because you had to sweat, and you got to put together. And you're going to build skills later on, and you're going to come back and you're going to look at that project. Oh my goodness, man, I can't believe I made that. But that's part of that growth process. So and don't always compare what you're doing with someone else, what they're doing. We're all on different aspects of the journey. And I'm here to try to help you. I'm hopefully retiring a few years here from having to go in and make money from somebody else. And, I can do a little bit of this, but I believe that I need to share the knowledge that I have with you to help you and help you be successful. So if you please like this, please subscribe. I'm really dependent upon that. I want to grow this channel. I want to do well with it. And so I'm dependent on you to do that. A little part, just a little click. I won't bother you too much. But my name is Tim. I am the Average Woodworker, and I'll see you on the next video.